unique growing up experience. Aside from the fact that we just never had housing, I grew up off-grid in Alaska. And my dad is Native, and so I am registered Native Alaskan, even though I don't look it. My mom and my dad actually, they divorced when I was an infant, and he was never in my life, but we were in Alaska. My mom was always unstable, and so she frequently kind of attached herself to a man for stability. And we moved to Dillingham, Alaska, which is right at the top of the Aleutian chain. And it's just a cannery village. And we lived in a house on stilts because bears will get into your house. And we didn't have water or heat. So we just had a barrel stove and a well and an outhouse because we didn't have plumbing. And I grew up like that until I was about 10. My mom at that time was already a hardcore alcoholic. I just didn't know it because I was too young to see it. And so we left Dillingham when I was 10 and moved to Washington with a new boyfriend. And we moved out to the far hinterlands of Camino Island. And it was way more rural then than it is now. And it was challenging. We lived in a tent on some wooded property for over a year. Again, no plumbing or any of that. We did eventually move out of the tent situation, but of course, my mom was just not stable. She couldn't hold a job. She drank heavily. We did move various rentals over and over and over. We almost never made it through a year lease because we would get evicted at some point. I just learned never to settle in. Just knowing always everything is going to be temporary. I don't know. My mom frequently was in and out of jail also because she'd get a DUI, or she would get arrested for things like shoplifting hairspray and toothpaste and basic needs. And so, I would bounce around to different people who could take me in while she was in jail. I stayed in 4 foster homes during that period as well. And it all kind of came to a head when I think I was 15-ish. My school counselor, Rose, who knew what was going on in my life, she helped get my mom into a rehab. And I bounced around to different friends for a while, waiting for my mom to get out of rehab and figure out what we're going to do. And what happened was my mom was supposed to go to a halfway house, and she never showed up. So she left the rehab facility after her month, but she'd met a guy in there, and they took off. I didn't know where she was. She was gone for over a year before I heard from her. And I was 15 at the time. And so I filed a missing persons report because I didn't know what else to do. Meanwhile, one of the people who was a huge influence in my life was actually my high school boyfriend's mom. She worked for DSHS at the time, and she was a guardian ad litem for some other kids. And so she kind of knew the system and what the options were. And I lived with them off and on all the time. And at that time, it was 1994-ish. Becoming an emancipated minor was new. But she had heard about it, obviously. And so we figured the best path for me, because I already was taking care of myself. I was not, I was really independent and very functional. The best thing would be to get me emancipated so that at least I could just make decisions for myself, because I couldn't go to a doctor or anything without parental consent, even to get immunizations to enroll in the following school year. I did get emancipated. I was one of the first ones in Washington State to get emancipated, which I didn't realize at the time that it was that new. But I got emancipated. And so then it's all right, now you're on your own. What now?